I hope I'm not going to get sued for doing that, but that is the theme to a great franchise and what have you. And can you believe it's been 60 years since it came out? Prepare yourselves because we're about to see the introduction to the title character, which may be referred to by a diamond, but not just by its cartoon cat, but also the bumbling Inspector Jacques Clouseau. Here's my review of the one, the only, the original, the Pink Panther. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1963 comedy flick, The Pink Panther, released by United Artists and produced by the Maurice Company. Directed by Blake Edwards, written by Maurice Richland and Edwards himself. The first installment of a franchise, and follows the story of the bumbling Inspector Jacques Clouseau as he travels from Rome to Cortina d'Ampezzo, excuse me if I mispronounce that, to catch a notorious jewel thief known as the Phantom before he is able to steal a priceless diamond known as the Pink Panther. The film stars Peter Sellers as Clouseau, along with David Niven, Robert Wagner, Capucine and Claudia Cardinale. The film was released in 1960 in late 63 in Italy, but didn't come to the US until March of the following year. So I'm just a month late for its anniversary, but hey, I'm cool with that. Anyway, this film is pretty fun and what have you. I've watched it a few times now, and I've come to like it. It's pretty good. But let's not try and get too ahead of ourselves. Let's get into the story. As a child in Lagash, I'm sorry, Princess Dala receives a gift from her father, the Maharaja, the Pink Panther, the largest diamond in the world. This huge pink gem has an unusual flaw. By looking deeply into the stone, one perceives a tiny discoloration resembling a leaping panther. 20 years later, Dala has been forced into exile following her father's death and the subsequent military takeover of her country. The new government declares her precious diamond the property of the people and petitions the World Court to determine ownership. However, Dala refuses to relinquish it. Dala goes on holiday at an exclusive ski resort in Cortina d'Ampezzo. I think that's how you say it. But if I mispronounce that, I apologize. Also staying there is English playboy Sir Charles Lytton, who leads a secret life as a gentleman jewel thief called the Phantom and has his eyes on the Pink Panther. His brash American nephew George arrives at I'm getting that tongue tied. Resort unexpectedly. George is really a playboy drowning in gambling debts, but poses as a recent college graduate about to enter the Peace Corps, so his uncle continues to support his lavish lifestyle. On the family's trail is French police detective Inspector Jacques Clouseau, whose wife Simone is having an affair with Sir Charles. She has become rich by acting as a fence for the Phantom under the nose of her amorous but oblivious husband. She dodges him while trying to avoid her lover's playboy nephew, who has decided to make the seductive older woman his latest conquest. Sir Charles has grown enamored of Dala and is ambivalent, about carrying out the heist. The night before their departure, George accidentally learns of his uncle's criminal activities. During a costume party at Dallas Villa in Rome, Sir Charles and his nephew separately attempt to steal the diamond, only to find it already missing from the safe. The inspector discovers both men at the crime scene. They escape during the confusion of the evening's climatic fireworks display. A frantic car chase through the streets of Rome ensues. Sir Charles and George are both arrested after all the vehicles collide with one another in the town square. Now then, I shall go to the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure for this. You have 5 seconds to stop this video immediately. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Later, Simone informs Dalla that Sir Charles wished to call off the theft and asks her to help in his defense. Dalla then reveals that she stole the diamond herself, knowing in advance from Clouseau of the planned theft. However, the princess is also smitten with Sir Charles and has a plan to save him from prison. At the trial, the defense calls as their sole witness a surprised Inspector Clouseau. The barrister asks a series of questions that suggest Clouseau himself could be the phantom. An unnerved Clouseau pulls out his handkerchief to wipe the perspiration from his brow, and the jewel drops from it. As Clouseau is taken away to prison, he is mobbed by a throng of enamored women. Watching from a distance, Simone expresses regret, but Sir Charles reassures her that when the phantom strikes again, Clouseau will be exonerated. Sir Charles invites George to join them on the phantom's next heist in South America. Meanwhile, on the way to prison, two Carabinieri express their envy that Clouseau is now desired by so many women. They ask him with obvious admiration how he committed all of those crimes, and Clouseau considers his newfound fame and replies, "Well, it wasn't easy." The film ends after the police car carrying Clouseau to prison runs over a traffic warden, the cartoon Pink Panther from the anime opening credits. He gets back up just as the police car crashes out of view, holding a card that reads "Stand" before he swipes the letters correctly to read "The End." End of story. So, what did I think of the Pink Panther, the original classic itself? Well, I do find it to be pretty funny and what have you. I mean, now I have known of these films for some time, but as I was young, I actually was more fond of the anime Pink Panther, who after this he would actually get who when this film was actually released, he actually got an actual cartoon, his own cartoon series. Yes, of theatrical cartoons, beginning with The Pink Fink, which was released late that same year in December of 1964, a year after the original film was released in Italy, and would go on to have numerous other cartoon series. It gained its highest profile on television, airing Saturday mornings as The Pink Panther Show on NBC. Anyway, The Pink Panther was a big success as it made over $10 million in the US and Canada. Now, after this, it would have numerous sequels and or spin-offs, starting with A Shot in the Dark, released the next year in '64, and then later the spin-off Inspector Clouseau in '68. However, star Peter Sellers did not return for that one. He did return for A Shot in the Dark, though. I will be reviewing that later on. There would be numerous other sequels, and this would be followed by numerous sequels because the Pink Panther would actually return in 1975 with the return of the Pink Panther, with Sellers once again reprising the role of Inspector Clouseau. He would return again in The Pink Panther Strikes Again the next year in '76 and Revenge of the Pink Panther in 1978, which would actually be the sort of actual last film he was in before his death in 1980. He did, however, manage to film some of his appearance for 1982's Trail of the Pink Panther in 1982. And then after that came The Curse of the Pink Panther in '83, as I mentioned, and '93 Son of the Pink Panther. Those I have not seen, I don't think. But it did get rebooted in 2006 and 2009 with Steve Martin as Inspector Clouseau. Now, I'll be reviewing the first reboot film next time. Now, my thoughts on the film, again, I thought it had some funny moments and what have you. I mean, this was long before well, some of those crazy spy films and what have you, even Austin Powers. But even so, this was a big success and what have you. The New York Times wrote when the movie premiered at the Radio City Music Hall, they wrote, seldom has any comedian seemed to work so persistently and hard at trying to be violently funny with weak material. And that review was from Bosley Crowther of the Times, and he had called the script a basically unoriginal and largely witless piece of farce carpentry that has to be pushed and heaved at stoutly in order to keep on the move. Variety was much more positive, calling the film intensely funny and Sellers' razor sharp timing superlative. Superlative. Excuse me. I'm sorry if I mispronounced some of these words. Apologies. Now, in a 2004 review of the Pink Panther film collection, a DVD collection that included this, the AV Club wrote, because the later movies were identified so closely with Clouseau, it's easy to forget that he was merely one in ensemble at first, sharing screen time with Niven, Capucine, Robert Wagner, and Claudia Cardinale. If not for Sellers' hilarious pratfalls, the Pink Panther could be mistaken for a luxuriant caper movie like The Copy. If I mispronounced that one, I apologize. Which is precisely what makes the movie so funny. It acts as the straight man, while Sellers gets to play the mischief maker. I agree. Clouseau's definitely a zany character and what have you. The film currently sits certified fresh at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying that Peter Sellers is at his virtuously virtuosically bumbling best in the film. Sophisticated caper blessed with an unforgettably slinky score by Henry Mancini. Yes, that's another thing I liked about this film, is because of its score done by the legendary Henry Mancini. Now, I absolutely think his work for the film was really good, and of course, he did the theme song to this, which everyone knows and what have you. I actually do remember playing the theme song with the junior high school band in 1992, if I'm not mistaken, or was it early '93? That's been a long time ago. But even so, I think this was just so incredible and what have you. I really did enjoy the music and what have you. I had to say the score for the film was now the story is awesome, is pretty good and what have you. I know it goes from one character to another, but hey, this was just the beginning and what have you. For our cast, aside from Peter Sellers playing Inspector Clouseau, we have David Niven playing Sir Charles. I'm gonna say that character was pretty good. Robert Wagner, who of course would later go on to appear in the Austin Powers franchise. He also appeared in numerous other films, as well as half of TV's Heart to Heart as George. He was good. Capucine played Simone, Clouseau's wife. Yeah, she was good. Claudia Cardinale played Princess Dalla. I think they were all pretty good. There's lots of others and what have you, but anyway, that's just the main cast. The other supporting characters and cast are, or should I say, cast are pretty good as well. So overall, I think the Pink Panther's one outrageously funny romp. Now, of course, as I've said already, I will review the sequels and the Shot in the Dark later. I can't guarantee the Inspector Clouseau film. Excuse me. But overall, I think it provided a lot of hystericalness. I think the atmosphere was absolutely really done good as well. So overall, would I recommend the Pink Panther, the original classic? Well, I would say, yeah, go ahead. This film's absolutely good. I'd say you'll enjoy it and what have you, definitely. So, what did you think of the Pink Panther from, well, the original from the 60s? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And join me next time when I bring to you a review of the 2006 reboot of the Pink Panther. So, if you like this, consider checking out some of these other zany films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the last Austin Powers film, which was Austin Powers and Goldmember from 2002. The upper right hand corner is my review of a real funny film that goes around the world. It's The Three Stooges Go Around the World in a Daze, which was actually released the same year that this was released. Or check out my review of this other Blake Edwards film, which came out a few years prior, and that would be Breakfast at Tiffany's from 1961. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.